Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I'm going to be walking my happy butt over to the futon to check out the new Netflix original, Incoming. So what's the plot of this film? Well, it tells the story of 4 high school freshmen. They're just starting in high school. First week of high school, and they're going to be going off to their first big high school party. One of the freshmen's older brothers is throwing a big kegger at his house, and so the freshmen are invited. And it looks like it is going to be one of those teen comedies, something in the vein of like American Pie, Porky's from back in my day, or what was more recent? Superbad. God, Superbad. Superbad was a while ago, and I think that might have been the most recent teen comedy that I can think of, but that wasn't like a TV show or something. But you know what? It's enough of me sitting here yammering on. It is time for me to, well, I'm going to waddle on over to the futon to check this movie out. And yes, I still have the old broken toe. If you watched my jackpot review, you know that I have broken my pinky toe on my left foot. So that's one of the reasons why I've just decided to stay home today, because the old foot is hurting. And you know what? I'm going to sit down and check out a new film. So enough of me sitting here yammering. It's time I hobble on over to the old futon and check out Incoming. Welcome back. Just getting done watching Incoming. And you know what, guys? I enjoyed this film. I thought it was a fun little raunchy teen comedy. Kind of a film that I would have liked way back when I was a teenager. You don't see movies made like this very much anymore. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. Okay, so negative-wise. Why don't we see movies made like this anymore? Well, probably because some people may be uncomfortable with the idea of teenagers doing things that are highly inappropriate. They may be uncomfortable with the idea of knowing that teenagers have big blowout keggers and get together with their friends and do, you know, things that we don't really as adults want to see teenagers doing. If that offends you, if you don't want to see that, then this movie is not going to resonate with you. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to identify with it. You're not going to find the fun in it. And that's okay, because comedy is subjective. We're not all going to find the same things funny. I found this movie funny because I was able to identify with the characters and have a really good time with it, with their adventures and exploits throughout the entire film. Even though I'm a crusty old man, it still brought back some good old memories of my own teenage years, of maybe some inappropriate things that I got myself into back in those days. I found the movie to be a very fun and enjoyable film, but I could definitely see where some people would look at this film and be like, who is this movie for? Because the people in this film, the ones that, you know, the characters aren't even old enough to see a raunchy R-rated movie. So why in God's green earth are we doing a raunchy comedy about teenagers? Well, because, again, it's nostalgic for some of us who enjoy it. We like to look back at this and remember all those goofy old times that we had when we were a kid. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for not being able to. I'm just saying that's who this is for. So if you're wondering, at least in my opinion, that's where movies like this are for. They're not for the kids. Definitely not for the kids. Because if they were not for the kids, it wouldn't be rated R, would it? But I do understand where the idea of these kids doing things that you don't want to see them do would make you uncomfortable. So just more or less a warning to people, not necessarily a negative. If those are subject matters that you want no part of, this is probably not going to be the film for you. Don't watch it, just move on with your life. Now, if you're someone like myself that can be able to sit back and enjoy something you don't necessarily 100% agree with, or not, I shouldn't say agree with, identify with, let's keep going into the positive, shall we? The first thing I want to talk about is the cast, because my God, every one of these kids knock it out of the ballpark. And I'm saying kids, because I mean, it is a raunchy comedy, so they're definitely much older than they appear in the movie, but they do an excellent job. I should say the young cast. The young cast does an excellent job in this film. Each one of the actors in this movie delivers a great performance and very well fleshed out and well developed characters. but I do want to shine a light on two that I really found some enjoyment with, and that was Mason Thames and Raymond Reed. Now, Raymond Reed, I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen anything else that he's been in. He did an excellent job. I loved his character in this film. He had a character that did have a lot of growth through the adventure and things that go on in the film, and I thought that Raymond Reed did an excellent job with his character and with a role such as this. Mason Thames, I am familiar with him from Black Phone. He played Finn in that movie and delivers another outstanding performance, but it's good to see that this guy can excel in not just horror, but also has some great comedic chops. There's some good moments, some great lines, and some good jokes that all of the cast deliver well, but our two that I've mentioned do the most, in my opinion, do the best job out of everybody in the film. The story itself is very relatable in my opinion. If you're someone who grew up in a time where you were a teenager with the ability to go out and have a good time at a party and such, this movie's gonna be for you. I mean, you can easily identify with each one of these kids. Now, the characters, while they are very, in my opinion, well developed and well defined, they are kind of tropey. These are characters we have seen before in these movies. You have the guy, the kid who's pining over the unattainable girl. That one dude who's just trying to get himself lucky one night. The friend that's really kind of, reserved and held back and, I don't know about this. And the one guy is trying to make a name for himself, but just keeps falling flat on his face the entire time. So these are tropes that we've seen in other movies, but the actors that play these characters do such a great job with their performances that they make these tropey characters fresh and new for everybody. So in all opinions, guys, this is a streaming movie. It is on Netflix right now. If you are a Netflix member, definitely check this one out. Maybe not your kids, but you're just fine. And I think that you might find some enjoyment in this film. I did find a lot of really good belly laughs. I thought that there was, again, great performances, good jokes, solid, all-around, fun little comedy that we just don't get to see anymore. And I don't think that this necessarily would have been a movie that would have resonated in theaters too awful much, so I think that it was a good decision to put this movie on a streaming service such as Netflix. Okay, guys, well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.